Hey little cuties, Demi Bemi here and welcome back to my channel and another sewing project. Today I'm so excited because when you're seeing this, it's October 1st. I've got an Oktoberfest beer in hand and we're gonna make an autumn themed circle skirt. I'm very excited. So let's just get started. All right, so now that we've got some sips going on, let's get some sewing going on. Okay, I'm honestly just too excited to get started. So it's just gonna be a basic circle skirt. Here's what I'm thinking here. Here is the lovely plaid I got, which I'm really excited that it has orange in it, but also black, because I also need it to match my wardrobe. So, and I don't have any brown almost at all in my wardrobe, so that is good. I've got lining fabric, visible zipper, corresponding sage green button that I had one singular of. I do have, for the waistband, some pattern paper. I just don't really trust myself without a guide to just like cut out fabric. So I think I've got everything. Time to get going. Okay, so first things first, you're honestly just gonna need any old circle skirt calculator. I'm using the Mood Fabrics one just because when I searched circle skirt calculator, it's the first thing that came up. I swear to God, it's not the only website I use. I feel like at this point, it feels like all I'm doing is using Mood. Okay, so I got a little extra fabric. I think I'm gonna need to measure out how long I want this skirt. I do also need to keep some room for a waistband. First things first, gonna have to figure out how long I want the skirt. I'm going to make it mini length, so that's gonna be 14 to 16 inches, just kind of depending. So I'm gonna measure from my natural waist to about the length I want it to make sure that that's going to work. So 16. I'm going to measure like kind of down from my butt to make sure it'll like cover it. Yeah, I think 16 is gonna be a good length for me. Okay, so I have my fabric. Let's look at our little thing here. Yeah, so, oh, it wants me to go selvage to selvage and then raw edge to raw edge. So, let's just do that really quick. Folded edge, folded edge. And this is where your waist circumference, or your waist radius, excuse me. This one gave me a waist radius of 5.17. Okay. However, I am putting a waistband in, so I think we'll just kind of have to maybe adjust as we go. Hi, so I'm realizing after I marked all of this that I don't know if I have enough fabric for a waistband. I thought I bought enough in the store because my fabric width was wider than recommended, and I bought more fabric than was recommended, and I do not know if I have enough, so we'll see what happens. Okay, now that this bad boy is all cut out, I'm going to cut up just in a straight line somewhere, using one of the folds kind of as a guide because I'm going to need a way to get in and out of the skirt. So that's where I'm going to install the zipperoni. I have to be honest with you, I was just so excited to make this skirt and this video. I didn't really prepare, like think about the project beforehand. I just bought the fabric and now we're here. So, oh, I probably should have figured out if that was gonna fit my waist before I cut it. Okay. You know what? No, that's gonna be good. I think there's enough room in there to insert a zipper, but I guess I should probably wrap it around my waist and just see, so let's do that. All right, people, let's take a sip of our beers and let's see the damage. Except when this is posting, it's like 9 a.m, so I'm not like one to judge, but if you just woke up, I wouldn't recommend drinking a beer, but also like you do you. I'm always like nervous. So I'm like, what? Oh my God, this is, stop. Okay. I think it's gonna be a little big actually. Oh fuck. Shit, things are, oh my God. Boys and girls, I think we have enough fabric for a waistband here. Okay, so I think I have an idea. Here, this pin I marked is my waist measurement plus about an inch to play around with for the zipper and any adjustments I hopefully don't need. But I'm going to fold this other end, matching it up and kind of like lining up the fabric. And then I'm going to cut. Is that fucking insane? Yes. And then where the side seam fabric lays down, I will cut there because I want to make sure that everything is like even. So I feel like this idea makes sense, right? Like lining it up like this, and then wherever that side seam lands, like that's where the other, or the back seam, like that's where that back seam needs to land. But I'm like now worried that that's like not right. That seems right, but what if it's not right? Do I call somebody? I guess worst case scenario, if I'm wrong, the skirt will fit at the waist, it just won't be quite as full at the bottom, which is fine. It doesn't need to be like super duper flippity flouncy, right? Wow, I should really just start calling these fucking episodes Winging It with Demi. Okay. So I'm going to actually quickly just stitch these together at the waistline, and then we can get started on the waistband. Lining and my top fabric are sewn together. So I guess moment of truth, is this going to fit me? Ooh, yeah, I probably could have given that like an extra ½ inch. So I've refreshed my beer. I guess you can't really see it, but it's the only pumpkin ale I can find anywhere near me, which honestly, what the fuck are people doing here? Do they not like pumpkin? What's up? Anyway. Okay, so I did a few practice runs, as you saw, with the fabric and doing a buttonhole, and they turned out like pretty good. And of course, because I was doing it on my final little waistband here, it's like pretty janky. I'm gonna see if I can like that's whack, dude. What is even going on? I think it's because like this part was so bulky and the foot couldn't actually make it back the other way. That's fine. It's literally going to be on the back of the garment. It's just for me, so it's like not like honestly that big of a deal. I definitely would not sell something with a buttonhole that looked like this, I'll tell you what. Okay, so for the skirt, now that my waistband is kind of like ready-ish to go, I'm going to add in the zipper to my like plaid fabric here, and then I will try to artfully add on the lining fabric. So hopefully that goes well. You guys saw my last sewing video, the Lobelia dress. You know that I had some issues with the invisible zipper on that, and I ended up having to like just straight up take the zipper out. Which I'm a little bit like nervous about, because like this is like fitted at the waist. It's like there's really no wiggle room because it's already like kind of too small for me, so wish me luck. Zipper is installed. It went off without a hitch, first try, which is really exciting. Looks good, functional. I also sewed down, honestly on the inside it looks a little whack. I sewed the lining down to the zipper, and then I sewed up the like open back seam there. So the only things I have left to do are the waistband and to hem the skirt, and then it's honestly all done. Okay, let's see what's up here. I don't want to disturb the pins. I feel like that's the one thing that always makes me the most nervous. Oh, that's not that weird. I think that'll do. Awesome. All right, so now that that's looking good, all I need to do is top stitch down the waistband. I do need to open up the buttonhole so I can mark where the button needs to go. We can put on the button. Okay, so to cut out the buttonhole, take a pin pin one of the edges like that, because you're gonna use a seam ripper to open that hole right up, and that pin will actually stop the seam ripper from going through. Pretty neato speedo. So you just stick her in right at the other end, and hopefully, oh, there's not a lot of grabbing room here. Okay, cool. So now that's open, and I can tell you right now that that is like way too large. Yeah, that's, I feel like way too big for that button, but you know what? It's fine. You live and you learn. Okay, let's sew down the waistband. Okay, so waistband is all nice and sewn down. It looks like the outside's pretty good. The inside got missed a little bit, but that's fine. It's the inside. And now I just need to go ahead and mark where the button needs to go. So I've got my waistband all lined up, and then I'm just gonna mark where my buttonhole is. Cool, and then we'll just center the button to that and sew her down, I think. Hi, it's the next day. I actually found another button to put on the waistband, and I made another buttonhole, and then something really bad happened. I ripped out the buttonhole, so it's really janky. I kind of fixed it. Like, I straight up like ripped all the way up to that corner, so that's sad. I hemmed the bottom, right? I think she is ready to go, so let me show you what she looks like.